Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming and we're back into Watcher of Realms. Now today we're going to go over artifacts just in general, and it's more of a beginner's guide because I don't really know that much, to be brutally honest. So let's start at the beginning. Where do we get artifacts from? Well, that obvious. We've got an artifact material raid, and that is not where we get artifacts from. That is where we get the components to make artifacts from, if that makes sense. So when you start off, you'll just be getting the epic materials that you need, but you also get the other substance as well, which is Mythril, and you need that to upgrade your artifacts. So as you climb up, when you first get to stage 6, that's where you can get your legendary stuff, and there it is, stage 13, that's where you start getting your mythical items to actually be able to craft. And then when you get stage 17, you can get legendary and mythical, but when you get to stage 18, it is all mythical pieces that you'll be getting. Now, another point to note about Artifact Material Raid 18 is that when there is a Brave Conquest event on, Brave Conquest will give you more points for the stuff that you get from Artifact Material Raid stage 18 than you'll get from actually running a gear raid at stage 19. Right, so that out of the way, that's where you get your stuff from. Once you've got your stuff, head over to the Forge. So on your hero page, select artifact at the bottom right, then select Forge, and that takes you to the Forge page. On the Forge page, left hand side is the pieces of equipment, all the resources you have to craft. So we've got our Epic Forge, Legendary Forge, Mythic Forge, and then we've got the exclusive Forge. We'll come on to that a little later on, that is somewhat different. Now, at the top of the page, we've then got our resources, showing us how many resources we've got. At the bottom of the page, we've then got how many we can forge. So we want to forge them in blocks, singly or in blocks of 10, whatever is easier for you, and just make sure you've selected the right component to do that with. And just above that, we've then got your odds or your percentage chance of actually getting anything. So when you've got all your mythical stuff and you're going off to cross mythical pieces, you've only actually got a 20% chance of crafting them. You've got more chance of crafting in epic stuff than you have mythic, but that's RNG, and that's the reason we love the game. And just above that is a Forge preview. So if we click onto that, we can actually see all the artifacts that are available in game, but only as a preview of the area you are. So if you're on the Epic Forge and you hit preview, you only have a slim chance of making legendary, and you can make epic artifacts. So they're the only ones you see. Then when you go on to Mythic, you can see all the mythical artifacts, you can see legendary artifacts, and you can see the epic artifacts. You cannot see the exclusive ones because you're not on the exclusive tab. So that's where you can see them all from. Now, epic artifacts. There are only 5 of them in game, and none of them are class based. So at the top right of the legendary ones above, you can actually see a little icon, healer, 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 defender, and that is on everything from your legendary and your mythical artifacts. As you go up, you can see they are class based. But only certain classes can wear certain artifacts, you can't put them on anyone. Whereas the epic ones, anyone can wear them. Now, the mythical artifacts, that's much the same. They're broken down as well into classes. However, the exclusive ones, when we look at the exclusive ones, again, there is no class icon on there. They are exclusive to the character. So they are champion exclusive. So this one here, Lust exclusive, only place to get it from is from the exclusive artifacts where you forge them here, or they can put them in the shop when there's an event on. So when we have the Lust event on, there's also events running on the side, and you could also get the Lust exclusive artifact. So bear that in mind. Occasionally when there's special events on, you can get these from there. And you can look through and see who's got exclusive artifacts and who hasn't. So it's not everyone that's got them, and there are some strange ones. So here we go. Here's an epic. Ian, he's got his own exclusive artifact, and there is another epic champion there. Boroth, he's got his own exclusive artifact as well. So they are the only 2 epics that have exclusive artifacts. The rest are legendaries, but not all legendaries have exclusive artifacts, including The limited time fusion that we're about to get, there isn't an exclusive artifact for him, so I don't imagine in any of the events they will be offering that up either. So that's how and where you look to see what you can forge and what you're going to get. And you can actually also, if you want, have a look, and you can bring the artifact up to have a look at what it does. Now, the important thing about artifacts is it doesn't matter which ones you do or which ones you get, they all offer the same stat increase. And by that I mean the same type of stat. So they are all HP and they are all attack. So they give them in different values, but it's always a flat stat HP and a flat stat attack. So you don't have to worry about that part of RNG within the game. There's enough RNG working against you to get anything decent, but that's a different story altogether. You have only got those two stats to worry about. Now the difference in them is quite astronomical. So when we look at a level 1 epic piece, it gives us 440 HP and 140 attack. It's fine. When you have a look at a legendary piece, that jumps up to 950 and 335 attack. And then as we jump all the way up, on mythical pieces, we then get 2200 HP and 777 attack. So a little thing to watch out for is even if you level them up to level 25, which is the highest level artifacts can go, so if you level an epic piece up to 25, this will increase. It will increase all the way up to 830 HP and 260 attack, which is still less than your level 1 legendary piece. So it doesn't matter how far you level up, and we'll bring some up later and have a look at them. So that's how you level them up. So let's start. We are going to make an artifact. So we hit the artifact one time and we get our new artifact. Comes up, there you go. We've got an epic artifact and there it is. Right, that's how you get them by pressing this. Then you go to your artifacts, pick a champion, go to artifacts, you can see them all on the right hand side. But the only ones you'll see are the ones eligible for that champion to have fitted. All the ones that aren't eligible for them to be fitted won't show up. So if you're looking for a particular artifact, make sure that you've got the right class of person selected for you to view it. And then when you want to upgrade the artifact, you can just click on the artifact and you can go enhance it. So you can enhance the artifact, and there you go, you can enhance it, and it will cost you, cost is just here, and it's 4 Mythril. Your total Mythril is up here at the right, and you can see how much of it in total you've got. Now, the only place to get it is from the artifact material raid. That is one of the substance get it, and you can get it from the arena shop. So Wolven Association arena shop, and through arena points you can get additional Mythril. Now that is you will need a lot of Mythril to actually get through and get stuff. And the other place you can get it from is there's a little sell option here for the artifacts. We can sell artifacts, select the ones we don't want. So the piece we just got, for example, well, let's pick this piece, and you can sell it for 10 Mythril as a rank 1. Epic, if you take a rank 5, you'll sell it for 34. Take a rank 13, it'll be a bit more. So the more you've invested in it, you do get some of it back. It's not as much as you've invested in it. Then your rank 1 mythics you can sell for 100 Mythril. So as your artifacts go up in level from epic to legendary to mythic, the cost of enhancement for them also subsequently increases. So it's a lot cheaper for you to level up an epic artifact than it is for a mythic one. Now, the other thing the artifact gives you is when you click on it, it gives you an artifact skill. Now this is probably the more important part of it. Now, and as your artifact increases in levels, this can also increase as well. So here's one for the mages. Attack is increased by 20% when deployed. When HP is lower than 80%, the attack increase effect is reduced to 10%. So it is these artifact skills that are the important part of the artifact, not just the stat boost that it gives you as well. The other thing to be aware of with artifacts is they are post-deployment buffs. Now this is a bit weird. So this 20% of attack, this isn't your base attack. This isn't when you go on your character page and have a look. It's not this basic attack here that's increased. So when you put a 20% gear on, or when you affect gear that affects attack, it is nearly always this, but what the artifact does is it affects these attributes back here. So your 18% or your 20% attack is affected by your total attack or when you're deployed, not before you're deployed. So that's a very important thing to know before you go forward with your artifacts. It makes some of them a lot more valuable than others. Now, so here's our level 1 artifact, and then as we go up in levels we can see that it increases. So we've got 1 at level 13, there we go. So we've got 1 at level 10, there we go, you can see there's not much of an increase. Level 13, again, it hasn't increased much, but our attack percentage is now up. By the time we hit level 22, our attack percentage is increased by 16%. There's an ally within 1 tile. When you push up to the 25, when there is an ally within 2 tiles, attack is increased by 16%. So any ally within range, your attack is increased by 16%. Now that percentage there is the important bit because that is post-deployment. So let's take her out, have a quick spin, see how things go, and we'll test this out against other artifacts to see where your benefit comes from and what it's worth doing for you. So there's Arrogant smashing the boss away, and he's doing 24,042 damage, and that's him going away there, but we're not really worried about that. What we're waiting for is to see how much he's hitting for, because I think his ultimate will go off, or Dolores triggers hers. There's his ultimate going off, and now he's hitting for 87, and then in a minute we'll see Dolores is going off. So let's trigger Dolores. She's going to buff him. Now he's hitting the boss for 120,908 damage. The massive buff there, and that is because her attack has increased. Pass on to him. We all know what Dolores does, and that's it actually happening. Now, the buff we're getting from the artifact. This only gets 260 attack. So if we put a different artifact on, we get a lot more attack. So here's level 10, and now our attack will be increased by 1,000. So let's replace that. Now her attack is much greater than the other artifact gives us. However, that 16%, that's the powerful part of it. So we've given her an additional 800 attack realistically. So same number as before. That's what we're expecting, and we just went for Dolores to rock up now. When she hits her ultimate, he was at the 120k mark last time, and now he's hitting for 118. It's still less. That's 16% at the end of all of her attacks is so much greater. Now you want to make sure you're looking for that in your artifacts. So out of all the epic artifacts, this is probably the only one that is worth building. I've got a couple, I'm happy to use them, and I would advise other people to do the same as well. They are good to use, especially early game on. There might be some better ones late game on. So a couple of shout outs for other artifacts I've leveled. Idril's Gaze, I've got one of these up to 25 as well, and it's on Idril, and this goes up as well. Do like her in it, she ignores enemy defense and she attacks a lot. Happy with that. Now on other people's tier lists and things like that, a couple of shout outs if you're looking at making artifacts. Scarlet Hunt, definitely worth, only if you're putting bleed on your enemy and it's on for a long period of time. Hasn't got much uptime, that's not worth it at all, in my opinion. Spirit Siphon, definitely worth a look at. Same target up to 5%. So make sure you're attacking the same target. So good for a guild boss, maybe some Immortal Codexes, things like that. If you're changing targets a lot, useless. Make sure you read these skills. Tear of Twilight, attacks increased by 20% when deployed. HP is lower than 80%, the attack decreases 10%. Really good apparently, and it's in a lot of people's lists. Now the other thing to make sure of is if you are like me and you've only recently cleared BT and you're only starting to get your mythical stuff, the choice you have to make is whether you want to level your pieces up. Now by that I mean I've got Tear of Twilight here and on my other stuff, and I'm more than happy with it. So my options here are, do I want to upgrade the Tear of Twilight? So I would go from level 10 to level 10 to 13, and then I will get a slight increase here. So I'll have attack increased by 20%, that will jump to 22%, and then it will be a 10% reduction to an 11% reduction. That is what I'm getting when I upgrade it to the second stage of upgrading. Now, the trick that you want to think about is, do you want to do that? Is that better for you than having 2 mages that increase attack by 20% slash 10%, or is it better to have 1 mage doing it by 22% and 11%? That is what you want to consider earlier on, and that's what I'm considering. That's why I haven't done it. I will probably fit this and level it up to level 10 and put it on another mage to start with, so I'll probably have 2 of them rolling as opposed to pushing 1 all the way to level 25. Now lastly, these here are the Gleaming Meteorites, and they make our exclusive artifacts. Now the places to get exclusive artifacts, like I mentioned before, is in the shops when they have special events on, but mostly sources from the Void Rift. So they come from not Artifact Meteorite, but from the Void Rift. They make the exclusive artifacts. Other than that, that is about it for artifacts on a beginner's guide for you. Hope this guide was useful and helpful to someone, and if it's helped you out at all, you can leave me a thumbs up and a subscribe. That would be handy, and I'll see you all in the video again soon. Thanks very much for your time. Goodbye.